Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, and this video we're breaking down the new Vin Diesel vehicle that isn't the Fast and Furious. Get it? Cause Diesel vehicle, never mind. Throughout this video we're going to be going over the star's new film Bloodshot, its ending, and where things could be heading for the future. There will be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to check the film out yet, then I highly recommend that you turn off now. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for breakdowns like this every day, and please hit the like button if you enjoy the recap. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking the video. Now let's get into our breakdown of Bloodshot.
We rebuild the most important assets in the US military.
Soldiers like yourself. You're the first who we've successfully managed to bring back, but improved, enhanced.
With the technology in your veins, you have an army inside you that will not only make you stronger, it will heal you instantly.
Okay, so Bloodshot is based on the Valiant comic book series of the same name, and it follows the basic structure of that for the film. Bloodshot has been in development hell for almost a decade now, with the movie being pushed into production all the way back in 2012. Jared Leto was set to star in it, but as we know, that didn't work out, and it took almost 6 years for it to get off the ground before finally beginning production in 2018. It centers around Ray Garrison, played by Vin Diesel, a Marine that has seen his fair share of combat over the years. This has taken its toll on him and his body, though he doesn't seem like he wishes to give up the life anytime soon. Ray is addicted to combat, orders, and going where people point him to, and this very much plays into the plot and how it develops. After returning from a mission in Mombasa, Ray and his wife are kidnapped by a man named Martin Axe, who is apparently connected to the aforementioned job. Axe becomes an interchangeable term, but for the meantime, I'll just be using this as his name. Axe kills Ray's wife in front of him before shooting him in the head. Ray isn't dead though, and he comes back with a vengeance. It's a RoboCop tale of the 21st century, and Ray is resurrected by scientists using the latest cutting-edge nanotechnology to revive him. These nanites are injected into his blood, hence the name Bloodshot. After pretty much having his memory completely wiped, he's on a mission to discover who he really is. Bloodshot is guided by Dr. Emil Harting, a scientist that works for RST. As you may have expected, the character played by Guy Pearce is the main villain, and though I did predict this off the trailers, I did appreciate at least how the reveal was handled. The company have carried out experiments on a number of people, including KT, Tibbs, and Dalton, who all now have prosthetic implants to enhance their abilities, and basically the group are guns for hire. I'll talk about this more in depth in a bit, but similar to his military life, Ray is just going wherever they tell him to. Ray is now owned by RST and must carry out jobs on behalf of them, but they want this to be without question, hence the procedure. He's pretty much their puppet, and over the mission he begins to learn the truth about his past as he uncovers what's really going on. Imagine the Winter Soldier, but everyone looks like Red Skull. That's the basic plot of the movie. Bloodshot is almost invincible due to the new tech that flows through his veins, and with nanobots he's able to shift his mass, integrate with electrical systems, and heal almost instantly from injury. He's able to push himself harder and faster than any man before, and apparently Bloodshot is the first to survive a full transfusion. That's the basic groundwork of the plot, and this journey sort of questions whether the life of a soldier belongs to themselves or the army that has enlisted them. Soldiers are often expected to follow orders blindly, and Bloodshot to me is about ensuing this through manipulation. Going into Bloodshot, I did expect it to be very by the numbers, and whilst it initially appears that way on the surface, for the first 40 minutes, it changes things up and allows the film to have an interesting aesthetic to it. This is an origin story in its truest sense, and because of that it has to follow certain confines in setting up the character, discovering their abilities, but it does alter things in certain ways. You can pretty much tell what's going to happen in the film if you watch any of the trailers, and it hits all of the beats that you'd expect. The cast itself are really good with what they have though, and Vin Diesel plays the tortured action hero that is tormented by his amnesia. Whilst I don't think that Diesel has much range, the actor always finds parts that complement him. In my opinion, he pulls off roles like this really well, and whether it's Riddick, Fast and the Furious or Bloodshot, he fits the part well for me. Ray tracks down Axe, who seems like a shell of the man that Ray met before, and when enacting his revenge, Axe utters the words, "You're making a mistake." The fight severely depletes Ray of his nanites, which plays into the ending of the movie. When he returns to base, they say that they will recharge him and explain everything. This is a ruse and they confine him, wipe his memory and admit that his wife is still alive. We learn that RST have completely manufactured his backstory and the majority of what we've seen so far. Ray was actually dead before the movie started, and this has all been a simulation built to provide him with a backstory to do their bidding. RST have complete control over his brain and can alter how he remembers the death of his wife. They are able to configure Axe so that he wears the face of his next target. Every target he goes after is an axe for him, and I got flashes of Guy Pearce's other work Memento, which had a similar sort of mindless killer motif. His awakening, training and revival are all scripted by RST to drive him to hunt, and the only one who seems to be twisted by this is Katie. Upon going to attack another target named Barris, who has replaced Axe, things change up massively and this sets us on a course for the end of the film. After an EMP is used to disable his nanomachines, he's captured by a man named Wiggins and the two uncover the truth. Ray manages to find his wife, however he learns that they've been divorced for a long time and that she moved on. Life in the army severely affected their relationship and Ray's refusal to leave the fight cost them their marriage. Ray has been working for RST for 5 years and it's a gut punch for the character that really caught me off guard. As mentioned earlier, Bloodshot does a great job of changing things up from what you'd expect and this sets the stakes for the finale. RST track him down and after an action and chase scene they manage to capture him. Katie is sent out to bring Wiggins in and due to her ability to inhale toxins, she knocks him out with a cigarette laced with sleeping gas. The good doc takes Ray into a simulation and he explains the situation. As mentioned earlier, this touches upon the prior points of soldier versus the army and how commanding officers often view the people fighting their wars as statistics. They become emotionally detached in sending them to their death, and this perception has enabled Harting to do the wipes to Ray countless times, regardless of his feelings or the life that he won't have. Harting argues that orders provide purpose and a reality, and it's an interesting character study for a man who devoted his life to war over his family. I think that the movie could have easily avoided this topic and just went with a brainless action flick, so I did enjoy them at least doing something that the audience could debate over. Katie returns, but she has a change of heart. RST begin to wipe Ray's memory again, but Katie enters the simulation to free him before the process can be carried out. Using Wiggins, they manage to break the spell, and Katie goes rogue, forcing Tibbs and Dalton to don exoskeletons whilst they try and kill Bloodshot. It's an awesome finale, even if Dalton does look like a discount Doc Ock that sees the two working on a falling elevator to try and kill him. He goes full Bloodshot mode with the nanites activating, turning his eyes red and skin completely white. Unfortunately, this massively depletes him, and though he manages to kill Dalton and Tibbs, he's in full overlock mode. After finally catching up to Harton, the villain shoots a grenade that completely decimates Bloodshot, who has to push himself to the brink in order to recharge. This completely drops his nanites, and left with none, he goes to Harting. Harting grabs him around the neck, and using one of the undetonated grenades that Harting fired at him, he blows the two up. Now whether Harting is dead is a bit up in the air at the moment. We never see the character die on screen, and there are actually a lot of fan theories floating around that say he could have injected himself with nanites and thus survived this encounter. He's there if they need him to come back, though I do kinda doubt it. For the final few scenes, Ray wakes up and he remembers everything. Wiggins has upgraded the character, and with Katie, the two head off into the sunset together. They've decided that their past doesn't define them and that they can choose who they want to be going ahead. Now before we get into the rest of the video, I just want to let you know we're giving away a free copy of the Infinity Saga box set to one random subscriber. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is like the video, subscribe to the channel and leave your thoughts on the updates in the comment section below. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of March and this set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. Okay, so going ahead, though a sequel for Bloodshot is yet to be confirmed, the film only cost $42 million, which is a relatively modest budget, especially in terms of comic book movies. The film was always intended to kickstart the Valiant comics universe, and though it's pretty far behind the MCU now, as the project was meant to begin in 2012, there will definitely be ideas in place, I think. Originally the series was meant to start with 2 films based upon the Harbinger comic, which would then culminate in a crossover called Harbinger Wars. However, due to Infinity War releasing and a number of other notable comparisons in films that didn't quite hit the mark, the studio rethought this. Instead, Sony announced that they would be releasing Bloodshot first, which would kick things off. The rights to the series are also a bit up in the air at the moment, as Paramount actually announced in 2012 that Harbinger was going to be distributed by Paramount, which could stop there being a shared universe. However, I think what will happen is that they will likely continue with it, but Sony and Paramount will share custody of the characters, similar to how Marvel and Universal did with the Hulk and Spider-Man. Paramount actually kickstarted the MCU before Disney bought Marvel, and though people forget, they were the ones that distributed Iron Man 1 and 2, Thor and Captain America. So it is possible that they could all work together, and Paramount likely want to create a foundation for another shared universe. Going forward, I can actually see them skipping a number of volumes, and for a second film, I think that the best story to adapt would be the fourth release. In this, Bloodshot has his nanites removed and he tries to live a normal life, but he's pulled back into the fray when a number of shootings are carried out by people that look like him. Whether they do that or not, I don't really know, but there is a lot to play with, and out of everything, that is what I would imagine. As for the film itself, I did have fun watching it, though as I mentioned, things on the whole went the way that you would expect. Bloodshot isn't trying to reinvent the wheel, but there's a lot of fun to be had with it, especially if you went into the movie knowing very little. Bloodshot was a blast, and those shared universes are a dime a dozen right now. This one actually interests me. I hope the film does well enough to garner a sequel, as I would love to see what can come from this, but if not, it's still a fun enough, self-contained story. Bloodshot was a good ride, and it gets a 7 out of 10. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on Bloodshot and what you want to see next time if we get another film. Comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video then please drop a thumbs up and make sure you check out our ending explained on The Outsider, which is going to be linked at the end. We go over everything you need to know about the big HBO show, so please check it out after this. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. We massively appreciate it, and as a thank you get access to content early. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at DefinitionYT or click the Discord link in the description below. Those are the best ways to keep up to date with the channel, so hopefully we see you over there very soon. This is a channel for people who are super into superheroes, so if that's the kind of thing you like, hit subscribe. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. I've been Definition, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.